Hello lads, and welcome back to yet another video. Today I wanted to make a long-term review on this phone, which is the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. I've been using this phone for, as you probably read in the title, 44 days straight now, every single day for 44 days, and I believe it gives me a solid basis to make a long-term review on. So as you guys probably saw in the thumbnail, I do have a Phantom Titanium model as well, but I am currently using the Phantom Black version because it is my color of choice. The Phantom Titanium version, as you guys can see here, is also a very gorgeous looking phone. It is an exclusive to Samsung.com, so you have to order directly from Samsung's website to be able to get this color scheme. But I also do have the Phantom Titanium, so I don't want you guys to think I've made a clickbait video, nothing like that. I do have access to both, however my color of choice is the Phantom Black. So anyways, carrying on to the review. So let me explain to you guys how I'm going to be making this review. I'm going to be firstly talking about all the positive points of this S21 Ultra, and then after I've talked about all the positive points and all the benefits of this phone, I'm going to move on to some nitpicky things that I don't really like. Nothing major, however, small little pet peeves that I may have with the phone that I may have come across throughout those 44 days of using this S21 Ultra. So let's go ahead and start the review. So first thing I wanted to quickly talk about is the actual display on this phone, because this display is absolutely gorgeous. It does come with a pre-installed screen protector. If I go ahead and I did want to add that this phone does actually come with a pre-installed screen protector. If I go ahead and turn off the screen and show you guys real quick. So as you guys can see, just right around the actual selfie camera, you guys can see a little bit of a plastic screen protector, and you guys can see these minor scratches on the actual screen. So luckily it does actually come with a pre-installed plastic screen protector, which I do appreciate a ton, because a lot of phones don't actually come with anything, so you're going to have to go out your way and actually buy one. For me, I didn't really have the need to go ahead and replace the plastic one that actually comes on the phone itself, because as you guys can see, the fingerprint scanner also works perfectly fine with this screen protector. So how's the actual display on this phone? Well, I can guarantee you this is the best display on any phone. It gets brighter than any phone on the market. It's more contrasty than any phone on the market. And watching videos and movies on this phone is an absolute blast. It does have a 120Hz display, and it is classed as a Quad HD panel as well. Unlike the Note 20 Ultra and the S20 Ultra that can only do 120Hz at 1080p, this phone does also do 120Hz at 2K or 1440p. So that is a major bonus coming from the Note 20 Ultra or the S20 Ultra. Now some people do say that you don't really notice the difference between 1440p and 1080p. In some cases that is true, but for me personally, watching like a YouTube video in 1440p, like a Marquez Brownlee video in 2K and then switching to 1080p, I can definitely tell the difference. So it just depends if that's a major factor for you guys. Now when I actually first got this phone, I was worried about the battery life, because the Note 20 Ultra, even at 1080p at 120Hz, would only give me around 5 to 6 hours of screen on time due to the Exynos chip. So I was a little worried. However, I am very happy to report that the battery life on this phone has been nothing short of exceptional. I mean, it's never died on me once throughout these 44 days I've been using it. It has not died on me once, and that's a testament to the battery optimization and the new Exynos 2100 chip. As a lot of people had complained that the European models of the Samsung phones with the Exynos chips just wouldn't keep up in terms of battery life or even performance compared to the Snapdragon chip. However, with this new Exynos 2100, all my problems have been solved. I easily get an 8-hour screen on time with this device, and that's including light gaming here and there. I don't game much at all. A lot of social media, a lot of content consumption. Just overall, on an average use, I would easily get 8 hours of screen on time with Quad HD turned on at 120Hz. So that's just a testament to the new Exynos chips that are in these devices. One more thing that Samsung had reportedly upgraded was the fingerprint scanner. And I heard a lot of people say that the fingerprint scanner isn't really that much different to the Note 20 Ultra and the S20 Ultra's under display fingerprint scanner. However, in my use case, I have actually noticed the difference. It is a little tad bit faster, I would say. However, the main difference for me is the fact that it misses my finger less. On the S20 Ultra, sometimes it would miss your finger, and that would happen around 20% of the time. And with this phone, I would say that happens around 5% of the time. So it misses my finger much less now, and I would say it's much more reliable in terms of scanning your finger incorrectly and telling you to scan again. It does that much less now. So now that we've got the display, fingerprint scanner and battery life out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the cameras. The cameras are absolutely exquisite. They take fantastic photos. The lenses that are on the back of this phone consist of 4 lenses, a 108 megapixel main shooter, 3x telephoto zoom lens. We also have a 10x periscope zoom lens, and we also do have an ultra wide. Now you may be asking what this little black circle on the back of this phone is. Well, that is actually for laser autofocus, and that basically improves the autofocus on the phone, because as you guys may or may not remember, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra did suffer from autofocus issues a lot. So basically this laser module just basically eradicates that totally. Focus isn't an issue anymore whatsoever. So I would genuinely say this phone has the best set of cameras in any smartphone currently. However, in terms of video quality, I would still give the crown to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, because the video on the 12 Pro Max, in my opinion, is still a little bit better than the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultras. However, in terms of pictures, the variety you get, the different zooms you get, the ultra wide you get, it's just absolutely crispy. Every single photo you take is going to be crispy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a few photos that I've taken with this phone. So this photo you guys can see I've taken with the main 108 megapixel camera. This photo I've taken with the 3x zoom. This photo I've taken with the 10x zoom. Now I do also want to talk about the zoom lens. The 10x zoom lens that this phone has is amazing. Taking photos in well lit situations, well lit areas will turn out fantastic. And I do have to mention that the area you're taking a photo of has to be well lit. Otherwise it does come out a bit grainy, so do take that into consideration. And lastly, this photo I've taken with the ultra wide. So in general, you guys can see the photos look stunning. Even in low light, looks fantastic. No complaints with the camera whatsoever in terms of camera quality and image sharpness. And what about the selfie camera? Well, the selfie camera does a fantastic job. It's one of the top 2 selfie cameras on the market. It just depends on what you like and how you like your color science on your photos. In terms of actual raw image quality, it's easily up there with one of the best. And yeah guys, nothing much to say about the selfie camera, just an overall fantastic selfie camera. And I do have to mention that the portrait photos on the back camera and the front camera are exquisite. However, I do have a small pet peeve that I'll mention at the end of the video with these cameras. But anyways, moving on, let's go ahead and talk about the speakers on this phone. The phone does come with a bottom firing speaker and an earpiece speaker with a sound split of, I would say, 70% to 75% coming from the bottom speaker and 25% coming from the top speaker. And listening to music on max volume is absolutely doable and very enjoyable. And playing music or movies on maximum volume is very doable and very enjoyable. They don't get very distorted at all, and they don't start getting rumbly like some other phone speakers do. So an A- grade is what I would give the speakers. One more thing I wanted to talk about real quick was 5G. Where I live, I normally do actually get 5G signal. However, there are new flats being built just outside my garden, so that's why the 5G signals are being blocked currently. However, normally I do receive 5G signal, and I had been using 5G for around a month before the flats started being built outside my house. I do have to mention that the 5G speeds are fantastic. However, I know people talk about 5G and they say that 5G doesn't have that much of a detrimental effect on your battery life. The maximum they say that it should reduce your battery life by is around 10%. However, I do have to report to you guys that when I was using 5G, the phone did actually get pretty warm to the touch. Not blazing hot or anything like that. You won't be able to cook an egg on the back of this phone like you used to be able to on specific other phones. However, I do have to report that it does get warm to the touch, and that includes even light browsing such as going on Chrome, watching a YouTube video or downloading something on 5G. The phone does actually get warm, and I do see a pretty, I wouldn't say significant, but I do see effect on the battery life, which I personally don't like. So that's why I normally try to use Wi-Fi at home, even though I do have unlimited data. I see around a 20 to 25% decrease in battery life if I use 5G throughout the whole day. So let's say normally I would get 9 hours of screen on time. If I use 5G throughout a whole day, I might get 6.5 to 7 hours. So yeah, it does, for me, it did affect my battery life. It wasn't like a magic pill where you just turn on 5G and you get amazing network speeds, and there is a downside for me. Moving on, finally, the last positive point I wanted to talk about is the design, and I personally believe that this phone is probably the best looking phone on the market right now, and it's got fantastic other color options as well. The Phantom Silver looks fantastic, the Phantom Titanium looks fantastic, the Phantom Brown looks fantastic, the Phantom Navy looks fantastic. All the color schemes that the S21 Ultra does provide do look absolutely gorgeous in my opinion, and this is my favorite color. It's just so stealthy, so undercover, and it's much harder to get fingerprints on this phone compared to non-matte glass back, and the feel of the phone in hand is great, nothing short of fantastic. Because the corners are rounded out, the edges are rounded out, it's very, very comfortable to hold in your hand. I have used the iPhone 12 Pro Max for a very long period of time as well, and moving from the 12 Pro Max to this S21 Ultra, I do notice a difference straight away. The iPhone 12 Pro Max does have very sharp edges, and it may become pretty uncomfortable to use after a while. The phone does have rounded edges, which make it much more nicer to hold in the hand, and it just sits very, very nicely in your palm. It just basically gets cuffed very, very nicely, and you feel very comfortable using this phone, and you feel confident because you feel like you can hold on to it. And the camera lens also just bleeds over onto the edge so perfectly. Looks gorgeous. As I said, I'm a huge fan of the design. Let me know what you guys think of the design of the phone, and what is your actual favorite color. Is it the Phantom Black, Phantom Titanium, or anything else? So now, as I did mention, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the few negatives that I do have with this phone. They're not necessarily negatives. You could class them as pet peeves, some would say. So first of all, I want to go ahead and talk about the camera pet peeve that I did mention earlier. So first of all, the camera system is fantastic. I'm not taking anything away from the fact that the cameras on this phone are fantastic. However, whenever I'm using the phone and I want to switch to a different lens using the icons at the bottom of the viewfinder, I go ahead and click on an actual button. However, the photo zooms in, the viewfinder zooms in. However, the actual camera lens doesn't, and it's still using the main lens. I don't know why this happens. I don't know if the software thinks it's trying to be clever or something along those lines. You guys can see there that the lens does switch. However, sometimes the actual lens doesn't switch, and it uses the main sensor, and it basically just zooms in using that. And whenever that happens, whenever I zoom in and it doesn't switch actual lens, it really irks me, because I'm trying to use the extra lenses that come with the phone, and the phone isn't letting me. The phone is just using the main sensor, and it's just manually zooming in using artificial zoom. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, why are you doing this? Like, and for the life of me, I can't force it to switch. I just basically have to keep doing this, keep switching between lenses until the camera actually decides to switch lens to the 3x or to the 10x. It mainly happens with the 3x, it doesn't really happen with the 10x, but when it does happen, it just boils my blood. It just really irks me that it just doesn't allow me to manually change my lens from the main sensor to the 3x. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, as I said, it does annoy me, because I paid for a phone and it's got 4 lenses, and I want to be able to use those 4 lenses. And next, I want to talk about another little pet peeve I have. So this phone is a very expensive phone, no doubt. However, the charging speed is still only 25 watts. People used to talk about Apple and how Apple doesn't support very fast charging, even though it's a very expensive device, and I understood people's frustration there. However, now Samsung's doing the same thing. It's been years since they haven't switched from the 25 watt that they support. Other phones have moved on to 30 watts, 40 watts, 50 watts, even 60, and some phones even 70 watts. And I'm not saying that I want this phone to support like 70 watt ultra fast warp supersonic charging. No, I'm not saying that. All I want is an upgrade. All we want is an upgrade from the past 2-3 years that the Samsung phones have supported 25 watt charging. Because 25 watt charging, let's face it, it's getting really old now. Nearly every other flagship phone, OnePlus phones, and nearly every other flagship phone supports 50 watt, 30 watt at a minimum. So that's why I find that a bit of a pet peeve that they haven't really even thought of upgrading that. I don't know if they will be doing that next year, if they will be doing that for the Z Fold 3. Not too sure if they will or they won't. However, that's a little pet peeve as well, that the charging speed hasn't really upgraded for 3-4 years now. It does support 8K video, but don't go anywhere near that, guy, to be completely honest. And that's pretty much it in terms of pet peeves. That just shows you how perfect this phone actually is. That the only two things I could find wrong with this phone are very, very small, nitpicky things that I just had to mention for you guys. So that just shows you how much I actually love this phone, that I can't really find anything else wrong with the device. So yeah, guys, this is pretty much my favorite phone of all time so far. I would say tied with the Z Fold 2, which I've also made a long-term review on. So would I recommend this phone at its expensive price point? I would 100% recommend this phone. If there is any phone that's worthy of being over £1,000, it's probably this phone right here. I know the 12 Pro Max is also a fantastic device. However, for me, this phone takes the cake. Just an overall fantastic device. Fantastic battery life, fantastic cameras, fantastic display, fantastic set of speakers. I don't know what else anyone would want from a phone. Just an overall excellent device, and those fingerprints that you just saw there were disgusting. But anyways, that was pretty much my long-term review. I thoroughly enjoyed using this phone, and I'm probably going to go ahead and set the phone aside and sell it on to use a different phone so I can make a different review for you guys. So if you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I do appreciate you guys watching the video till the end, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye bye.